Hey friends, today it is cold as heck out. It is the middle of winter in Iowa. We just had a blizzard. It's like -5 degrees. And I'm working on 2007 Silverado. Bad thing about working on the truck right now is the only part of my garage that actually fits in is over there where the Corvette is. So we gotta do this with the door open. So I'm using gloves, stocking cap, all this fun stuff. But today, we gotta change the thermostat because the heat stopped working. All right, so we're gonna show you how to change this thermostat. It's 2007 to 2014 Silverado with the 5.3. It's a flex fuel, blah, blah, whatever. So to get in here and start, we gotta pull this cover off. It pops up, pulls out. And then I do have an aftermarket air intake on here, so this will be a little bit different than a stock one. At the end of the day, you gotta remove this air inlet tube, so we're gonna pull a screw there, and then there's this inlet PCV valve thingy that goes down here. We're gonna take that off really quick. On this aftermarket K&N air intake, it's just a hose that goes to the top of the valve cover. There's like a little connection right there. We just disconnected that. So now that's out of the way and we can get down in here. Thermostat housing is actually right here underneath this pulley. We don't have to remove anything else to get to this. We're gonna pull the hose off. I've got a pan down there way down there to collect the coolant that's gonna leak out of here in just a moment. And then once that's done leaking, we'll pull the 2 bolts out, pull this thing off and get a thermostat switched out really fast. If you haven't done so already, go down below, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it a ton. And then something else, check out down in the details. I've got a link to some cool gear to keep you warm in cold conditions like this. This truck has like 270,000 miles on it, so it's seen better days, but we maintained it. It runs great, pulls a camper, no problem. So it's a little greasy and messy down here, but you can see is we got this clamp moved off this hose, and now we're gonna wiggle this thing around. It's gonna be on there, probably pretty tight. I might have to get a pick to put my pick down around there, and we're gonna pop this thing off. And like I said, we got a drain pan down below here because this thing is gonna have a bunch of antifreeze go all over the place here in just a second. Something else I'm doing to be really, I don't know, silly. This is a true like backyard shade tree mechanic type thing. I took a piece of cardboard and just put it under here because I don't want to get this antifreeze all over the belt and the AC compressor pulley. I don't know what's down there. Some kind of compressor. Yeah, I think it's the AC compressor right there. So I'm gonna put a piece of cardboard there so when all this liquid comes out, it doesn't just drop all over everything below it. It's gonna kind of go over the top of it, hopefully down into the container. And that worked out with some pretty good success. Worked better than I thought. You know, and for more great tips like this, subscribe. You want to follow this channel. All right, so I moved that cardboard box a bit too early. I should have left it in there when I pulled the housing off because now you can see I got antifreeze all over everything. So it might just squeal a bit or something. So don't do that. Like leave something there, whatever. Okay, here's that housing. So it's just 2 bolts, one on the bottom, one on the top. And then here is that thermostat. And then there's just a seal around the thermostat that we're gonna replace really quick. This is a super easy job, guys, like literally 5 minutes or so. Here's a thermostat we're using. There's a bunch of different options from different manufacturers. This is just the CarQuest brand, Felpro seal. I'll link it all in the description below. So now we're just gonna pull this one out of here and put the new one in its place. Here's that new thermostat. Looks a little bit different. Seal on there like that. You can see on the back side, just different design. That doesn't matter. It's 187 degrees, which is what the OE one is. So now we just pop this out. That seals what kind of seals this from leaking. There's no other gaskets on the housing. It's literally just this rubber seal. And to get it out, and to get it out, it pops out. It's in there pretty good. And then set the old one off to the side. That was junk. 267,000 miles. It did good. You did good, little buddy. Way to go. But now it's time to replace it with this new guy right here and just pop it into place. Get a good seal all the way around there. And then we slide it up in there, and then you'll notice this has got the little tab right there where my thumb is. A little tab. It goes into the housing. There's a little spot for that tab. Just make sure you line that up. So when you put it in, it seals really good all the way around there. So there it is. There was that tab was all in there. Now we literally just put that in there, bolt it together, put the hose back on, tighten it up, put this back together, and then top it off with some coolant. I'll point out really quick, this thermostat did come with a seal, so I did not need to buy that extra seal. I did because the description didn't tell me if it came with one. Usually they do, but I wanted to be safe because I live like 40 minutes away from an auto parts store, and I would have been super irate if I'd gotten this home and there wasn't a seal. So I'll just return that later. It's even too cold out here for Mr. Pips to come out, so no break time on this. We're getting this done as fast as we can so we can get it out of this garage. All right, so you can see housing back on, tighten back down, hose back on, clamp back on. We're gonna go ahead and put the air hose back on for the intake here, put the cover back on. Like I said, then we're gonna fill it up with coolant right there. This thing does take Dex Cool, but what I tend to do is I switch out all my vehicles to just all vehicles. It's all makes, all model stuff, so it works for everything. So that's what we're gonna be putting in here. There we are, reassembled, record time. Like, I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but this was like maybe 5 minutes because it's so cold and I wanna get this done. I'm about to make one of you viewers super happy right now because I am going to be using this coolant bleeder funnel kit. I used it on my Corvette, wasn't a fan, but I'm gonna use it on the truck since I'm doing this now anyway. So it's a kit, comes with a bunch of adapters and stuff. What I've done is I've taken the adapter that fits down in the filler tube there, put this cap on, and then this sits on top, and then it's got this little tube that you can plug. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start pouring coolant in here till I fill this up. And then I'm gonna start the truck and I'll leave some coolant in here, and as it circulates through, it'll bleed the air out and you'll see it bubble up through here. So I'm gonna do that really quick. So I've got this filled up. It's filled up pretty high in here, and I don't wanna fill it up too much because I don't know how much air is actually in here. So I'm gonna leave this on the system so that way air can escape through here when I start the truck. I'm not gonna videotape it because I'm gonna be going back and forth and all this. But now that I've got this all here, I'm gonna run the truck, and ideally as it warms up and it starts bleeding air, the air will bubble up through here. And the nice thing is this gives a spot for the coolant to expand and go back in, so without overflowing everywhere trying to tighten the cap and stuff like that. So that's really the benefit of using this. I do like it on this a lot more than I liked it using it on my Corvette. I will point out, I don't know how well you can see it, maybe a little bit there. The coolant level has been dropping as it's running, so that's where I'm gonna start adding more coolant to that top there without overfilling it. I'm not showing a full-on video how to use this thing, but the nice thing is it does have this stick. It's like a plug. So as you're doing this, if you do have too much coolant left over in this funnel, you can plug it, pull it out, and put it back in your container, which is a really cool feature of that. Did I mention it's cold and wintry? Got a bunch of snow in the back of the truck. Like, we literally just had a blizzard. There it is, finished. Heat's working in the truck again, so my son will appreciate it when he drives this thing to work every day. My wife will appreciate it when she has to drive it. And well, I just like heat because it's cold out, you can see my breath. Hopefully this video helps you guys out. Again, super easy job, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes top if you have no clue what you're doing. But literally it's a 10mm socket, a screwdriver, this thing all comes right out and it gets done. So like I said, be sure to subscribe below, and until next time. Yeah, you can see my breath. It's too cold to be working outside.